So next week you're going to talk to the ladies.
Boom.
I'm actually going to talk to the men. I had that reversed,
Yes,
right?
yeah. You heard that boom?
I heard that boom.
I hit the ground. I fell again. I fell in love again. Boom.
You see what I'm saying, ladies? It's okay.
Shine again, better just coming on the horizon. The rain will finally end, clouds disappearing. Tomorrow's your
Hello and welcome to the Sweet Spot.
Hello. Welcome.
Oh my goodness, I am excited because I am here with the one and only love of my life today. You know what? You are you is smart and you is kind and you is important. I love saying that to him because you know what? Every time I say it, ladies, he blush. Every single time. I got that from one of my favorite movies, and I just love that little saying. But anyway, we are so excited to be in the Sweet Spot today.
We are excited today. Yes, indeed.
And we are going to, we got a lot of great feedback a few weeks ago when we did a show on relationships.
Relationships,
talking about
how you relate to me, baby.
Yes, absolutely.
And how I relate to you.
At 100%. Yeah. And we got great feedback.
We did.
So we thought today we would do another show on relationships.
Well, it's the sweet spot. That's the sweetest spot on the
It's the
place.
sweetest spots, right?
Indeed.
It really is. And if that isn't, if your relationship is not doing well, it affects so many different areas in your life.
Not so many areas.
Right? Every area
of your
Absolutely.
life. Yes.
So today,
Yes.
I am going to talk, ladies, more on the show because I am going to address the women.
Okay.
Okay? And then next week,
You gonna talk to the women?
I'm going to talk to
You
the
gonna
ladies.
talk to women for the men?
For the men.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then next
I trust
week,
you to speak on our behalf.
you're killing me. I love it. I think I can handle it.
Yes.
You trust me?
I trust you.
Okay.
You got this.
Okay, you trust me.
I do.
You sure?
I do. I'm
okay.
all in.
Okay,
baby.
I got this, ladies. I got this. But next week, you're going to do the same.
Okay.
We're going to flip the script, right? And
Hey.
you're going to talk to the men.
All right.
And you're going
right.
to kind of get them, tell them a little something, you know.
I'm going to tell the men a little something,
Yeah.
but I want the women to know I got you.
Yes.
Because this is for the I'm going to talk to the men, but I'm going to talk to the men for the women.
For the women.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to try to hit both aspects. And we hope we're going to have a little fun, right?
Yeah, we always have to have fun.
We always have fun.
That's what the Sweet Spot is all about.
That's it. That's
Yes.
it. And that is what relationships are all about, right? If you're not laughing,
Would you say that again?
that is what relationships are all about.
Because we forget that sometimes.
We do.
We get so tied up into all the day-to-day stuff.
Absolutely. And if you're not laughing, if you're not joking, if you're not having fun with one another,
I
then
heard someone smarter than me, maybe it was you, said,
I don't know.
The most wasted day is one in which you haven't laughed.
Exactly. I agree because, as you know, I love to laugh.
Yes.
That is like my favorite thing.
Yes.
I love to laugh.
Humor,
I love great jokes.
yes.
I love just when you be silly and you, babe, you can tell some really bad jokes.
Yes.
But I love it because it keeps me laughing. And you know that, so you keep me laughing all the time by just doing silly things. And I love it.
And you don't need a reason to laugh, though. So those of you who don't know my bride in person, she does enjoy laughing, and a great comedian is the best night out, right?
Yes.
But aside from that, well, you don't really have to do a whole lot to hit your funny bone, do you?
No.
You know, and I think all of us could learn from that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we take ourselves a little bit too serious,
We do,
right?
yeah.
And there's some serious things in life, right? Certainly some things that we have to be practical
Absolutely.
and pragmatic about.
Absolutely.
But really if we could take ourselves a little bit lighter, I think we'd benefit from that. Live longer too.
That's right. That's right. So today I am going to talk about how to make your spouse fall in love with you all over again.
Okay, go ahead now.
Right? So next week you're going to talk to the ladies.
Boom.
I'm actually going to talk to the men. I had that reversed,
Yes,
right?
yeah. You heard that boom?
I heard that boom.
I hit the ground. I fell again. I fell in love again. Boom.
You see what I'm saying, ladies? It's okay. I can't today. I just can't. So you're going to talk to the ladies next week.
Yes.
I'm going to talk to the men
Yes.
this week.
Yeah. So
Did I get that right this time? Did I say that right this time?
You're going to talk to the ladies for the men. Yes.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to talk to the men
for the ladies.
Yes.
There we go. Got it. Yeah, that's a little confusing, huh?
No, it's not confusing at all. Yes.
All right.
Tidy it
So
up.
we're going to start, and like I said, we're going to talk about how we can fall in love with our spouse or a significant other, right? All over again. So today I'm going to talk. I'm taking a little bit from a guy named Dr. Kurt Smith. I was doing some research, and I like what he said when he said the secret to a successful relationship is using your heart and your brain.
Okay.
Right?
So now you know there's a football coach that said that. See, everything revolves around football. Everything
Of course it
revolves around
does.
sports.
Why am I not surprised?
So the venerable Vince Lombardi
Yes.
suggested this. He says when a football player goes to ply his trade,
Right.
he's got to play from the soles of his
yes.
feet
I like
right up
this
to his
one.
head. He says
Yes.
now some players play with their head, and that's a good thing because you
Yes.
got to be smart to be successful in any business.
That's right.
He says, but more importantly, you have to play with your heart. With every fiber of your
Yes.
body. And this is the real good part. He says, now, if you're ever lucky enough to find a player with a great head and
heart.
a great heart,
Yes.
he'll never come off the field in second place.
Wow. See, I told you you're smart.
But no, that's the reason we watch football all the time. So ladies, men watch football
That's it.
so they can be better for you.
Right.
This is all, yes,
Oh,
that's
is
it.
that it?
That's
I like that.
How we turn that around.
Okay, I see it. But that's true, right?
Yeah,
Like I like
it
that. I like how you use that football analogy too. But yeah, he said the secret to a successful relationship is using our heart and our brain. And then he went on to say, to fall in love with your husband or your wife all over again after you have a history together requires exercising more heart.
More heart, okay.
More heart,
Yes.
right? And when he refers to heart, he speaks on compassion, understanding,
Forgiveness, maybe.
forgiveness, and that big four-letter word, Love.
Rocket, baby.
Love, right? While simultaneously using less brain this time.
Okay.
Okay, so you're using more heart, less brain. And when he talks about less brain, he talks about, and I know as women, okay, we seem to hang on to things more, I think. I'm not sure, but it could be pretty equal.
It can
I
go
think
either
we
way.
all kind of
Yes.
hang on to things. But when he talks about the brain, he talks about memories, fears, self-protection. So we're afraid to let go and to fall in love again because, oh, I remember when he did this. Oh no, I remember a few years ago when he did this. I'm not trusting that again, right? So we tend to hang on to those things.
What'd I do?
Instead of letting it go.
You're not talking about me. I'm sorry.
We tend to hang on to those things instead of letting those things go, allowing ourselves to fall in love with our spouse all over again. What do you think about that? The heart and the brain.
I love the way he described that because we sometimes try to think ourselves through things, and everything has to be
Right.
Love is not rational. Forgiveness is
No.
not always rational. As we defer to someone else, that almost defies its own logic because
Right.
love puts someone else before you, and if we think logically through that, we would not necessarily come up with that answer. I don't think, but when we do that, and when both partners do that, we see that that has honor and a higher level of trust.
Right.
But we have to actually be willing to turn, to almost turn the brain down, as
Right.
he's saying a little bit,
Right.
and trust a little bit. And when we do that, and that trust is honored,
Right.
we go to a level higher than we could have done with that head alone,
That's right.
right?
That's right. Well, he goes on to give about 2 or 3 tips, right, into this, telling us how we can begin to fall in love again. Because a lot of times we hear people say, "Oh, I've fallen out of love. Not in love anymore. I fell out of love. Nah, feeling's gone," right? But what I love about Dr. Smith is he says there are 3 things that we can do to help that process, right? And the first, he says, well, we're just talking about forget the past,
Okay.
because a lot of times we like to hold on to past things,
Yes.
but we have to learn to forget the past, let go.
Forget the past. I'm gonna write this down.
Okay, then we have to focus on the present.
Okay.
If we forget the past, we can begin to focus on the present.
Okay. Yes.
Right? And what I love, the third thing he says that I really love is work on seeing your spouse for who he or she is now.
Okay. All
Not
right.
what they were last month, last week, last year, 2 years ago. See them for who they are right now.
Wow.
Start right now, today. Accept them for who they are right now.
Wow. I've gotten a little heavier, honey. So now
I'll take the heavy, the chubs and all. I don't care.
all right.
You know, it's all good.
It's all good. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
more for me to love, right?
Yes, okay.
As long as you feel the same.
Okay.
You feel the same?
No, I feel more.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Well, we're good.
yes,
We're
yes.
good. No worries. So, but I love that, right? Our brains are powerful, right? And we could hold on to so many things, but I think our hearts are even more powerful, right? When we focus on love, right? I know in Corinthians where it talks on what is it? Love sees no wrong. Love.
That's right. Keeps no record of wrongs.
Keeps no record of
Yeah,
wrong,
that's
and
right.
that I love, right? Because it speaks on everything. Love is patient.
Right.
Love is kind. Love is forgive. Like all those things,
Right.
and that is so important in a relationship.
And that one you referred to is my favorite. Love keeps no record of
wrong.
wrongs,
Yes.
right? It doesn't keep that history. And
That's right.
The heart is bigger than what the mind can comprehend. Right?
Yeah. So I love those tips that as I was reading last night, I was like, oh, this is some good stuff. We have
Yes.
to use this on. Thank you, Dr. Smith. I really appreciate that. But those were really good things. The heart and the brain, and they have to work together, right, in order for it to work. There has to be a balance, right? There has to be a balance with everything, and I love that. But another thing that I wanted to touch on is, well, you know, I'm always online and I'm always looking up stuff to talk about, right? And Cindy McMenamin, her name is Cindy, let me make sure I pronounce this last name right.
Okay.
McNamon.
McNamon.
Okay, it's a tongue twister, right?
Yes.
Anyway,
Just say it with conviction, baby. Yes.
she had some pretty brilliant things to say as well. She said that what speaks to love to your husband or to your wife? What speaks to love? That talks about your love language.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yes.
It's really talking about your love language.
Yes.
Like, what is your love language? What is my love language?
Yes.
We need to understand what our spouse's love language is.
Yes.
And that's part of the problem a lot of times in our marriages. If you don't know how to satisfy me, if you don't know what speaks to me, what my love language. Do you know my love language, by the way?
Yeah, well, let's see.
Tell
What
me.
is your
Do you
love
know my
language?
love language, honey?
So, the love languages are giving gifts, quality time, words of affirmation,
I have more than one.
service, and physical touch. Let's see,
Okay,
honey. I really don't have
All
to
of
study.
those?
I don't have to study. No, yes. Your love languages are exhaustive. Yes. Everyone. As a matter of fact, I think there's one or two more we
I
can.
know, right? We can
you
throw in there. I think so.
Yes. So, so in other words,
But the good thing is, you know that.
yes,
Right?
yes, yes, yeah.
You know
all-
that, and you understand that.
yes, indeed.
And that's the important thing.
yes.
That's all that matters.
Let the church
right?
say.
That's all that matters. You
Yes.
know that. You understand that. It's my love language is more than one.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And you get that. You know that.
Yes, your love languages are multilingual.
They are.
Yes.
They are. Can you speak a little Spanish to me right now?
Hola, ¿cómo está usted? Mi amor linda.
Okay, let's get serious. Let's get serious. See, this is just too much fun for me. I can't with you. Anyway, so what I know is that we have to be willing to fix ourselves before we can do anything else.
Right, got to start with us.
We have to start with us.
Yes.
Right, on a serious note. A lot of times we try to work so hard in our relationships to fix the other person, right? And we forget that maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe there's something I'm not doing right.
Right. And have you ever been in a situation where somebody wants to fix you? Wanting to fix you means that you are broken. Nobody wants to be broken.
That's
Don't
right.
fix
That's right.
anybody.
Yeah.
We can grow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We are probably not going to change, right? If you liked music 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you probably still might like music.
That's
your
right.
your taste in music may have changed a bit, may have matured, but you, right, probably still enjoy music. And,
That's
and so
right.
as we mature, right, we go through things and we grow. And so I think certainly that as mates, we can look to help each other grow, but trying to change someone, trying to fix someone is a difficult thing for the other partner to get their head around, right?
Absolutely.
To start from a point where they feel they are broken,
Absolutely.
right? God tells us that we are complete, lacking in nothing.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
I really just would like to encourage us, especially our men, not to fix our wives, right? But to come alongside of them and as we grow, help them to grow as well.
Absolutely, and same for the ladies, because I know for women we tend to do that, right? We want to change our husbands and just make them just how we like them. But what we need to do is ask God to allow you to see him the way God sees him.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
God, help me to see my husband the way you see him. Because in God's eyes, God created him,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So he's perfect in God's eyes, right? So we need to ask ourselves or ask God to allow us to see our spouse the way he sees him.
That's right. And I think God, certainly does notice, our frailties, but he sees the best in us.
That's right. He sees the best in us.
Yes. So he that vision of that or that challenge of trying to find the best in people.
That's
at
like
all
your
times.
song, He sees the best in me. When everyone else sees the worst in me,
Right,
God
that's right.
sees the best in me,
Yes.
right?
Was that Marvin?
I think Marvin Sapp.
Yes,
I believe
yeah.
so. I believe so.
Wow.
But
man.
yeah, that's so
He
true.
saw the best when everyone else around could only see the worst. He saw the best.
That's right. That's right. And we need to understand that we have to love in spite of our faults. So you have to love your husband or your wife in spite of their faults.
And that's what love means.
That's what love is,
Yes,
right? We have to love them in spite of their faults.
Right. And when we speak to love, it does all of those, wonderful things. And sometimes I think we, again, kind of associate that back with feeling, and just just want to say that those things that our mate get wrong, right, can cause us to feel differently.
That's
but
right.
Feeling differently shouldn't change our love, our commitment to them. So very important to understand that yes, let's be reasonable. Sometimes we get upset, things bother us, and that kind of thing. But our love suggests that even through that process, I am still committed to
That's right.
My mate.
That's right. And ladies, I want to suggest something to you for this week. If you would, with your husband, just every day, just tell him how handsome he is, right? Lift him up. If he took out the garbage, tell him he took out the garbage well. You took out that garbage, baby, better than anybody I know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Lift your husband up. Make him feel like he is just a superhero this week. Every day, just encourage him and just say all positive things to him. Just because you know why? Our men need that. They need to understand that you are on their side and that they are the best thing ever that's ever happened to you, right? And you have to encourage him and show them that extra love and that extra affection, right? Because I know sometimes I forget to do that with my husband. And I remember once I went with him for a speaking engagement, and I'm always hearing him speak because I'm with him all the time, right? So sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, he was great, whatever, right? But this one particular time, he gets in the car and we start driving, and I looked over and I said, babe, that was just unbelievable. You knocked it out the park. That was so good. Like, I was just pumped, and it really was, right? And he looked at me, he was like, really? Wow, right? It made him feel good that I took time to tell him how good that was. And I think it's important that we do that with our husbands, that we lift them up and we allow them to see that we're on the same team.
Right? That is right.
We're on the same team.
It is important. The more we can have that interaction and approval, the better we are. There's no question about that. The stronger our relationship becomes. You want to think as a man and certainly as a man of God, right, that you don't need those things. Right, but those things do build you. They make you better. They make you stronger.
That's right.
They make you closer.
That's right.
A greater sense of connection, right? And when it comes from your significant other, when it comes from your spouse, it means so much more.
It does. It really does.
So much more weight,
it really
right?
does.
And sometimes we take each other for granted.
That's right. That's right. Well, Cindy did a really cool survey. I'd like to, I love surveys and stuff, right? So Cindy McMedeman, she did the survey. She asked husbands what makes them feel loved by their wives.
Okay.
Right? So what makes them feel loved by their wives? And this is how she referenced it before she went into the questions with them. So, excuse me. She says, Scripture speaks of God's loving kindness that lasts forever. It also speaks of his unfailing love. I believe the most thorough description of love that we can find in Scripture is 1 Corinthians, that we were just speaking of, 13:4-7. This passage describes enduring love, love that just won't quit. This is a contemporary translation, so it hits you in places that perhaps it hadn't before. And ask yourself, does this describe my love for my husband? So these are the questions. She asked these questions to a group of men that were married between 10 to 40 years.
Wow. Okay.
right? So
Yes,
she had a nice range.
Yes.
She says, when I asked the husbands who had been married 10 to 40 years to tell me what makes them feel loved by their wives, nearly all of them alluded to their wives' responses to them in light of their mistakes and failures. How interesting is that?
Wow.
Okay, listen to the responses that they gave her. It says, I feel loved when she accepts me without feeling the need to fundamentally change who I am.
Okay.
I know she loves me
change.
when she upholds my character and personality to others and doesn't feel the need to apologize for who I am or explain it to others. I see her love in the way she sees, always willing to start over. She can show me she loves me by still being nice to me, even when I'm a jerk. I like that one.
Yes.
And then it says, she doesn't compare me to others. She doesn't try to change me. She doesn't compare me to others. She doesn't try
Men
to
don't
change
wanna be
me.
changed.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
When she tells me and others that she is honored with who her husband is, I know that she loves me for who I am.
Wow. Wow.
For
That's
who
beautiful.
I am.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that something? And that's just a few of them. I won't go through all of them, but that's a few. But I love that. I love that survey, and I love the responses because it helps us wives know, right? And that's what I was talking about, lifting our husbands up,
Yes.
filling them with positivity, right? It's so important, ladies, that we do that. And I know we're running out of time here, but the other thing that I wanted to share are a few things on love
Okay.
that I thought was cool as
Please
well.
do.
So it says, love never gives up. Love cares more for others than myself. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have.
That's wow.
Love doesn't want what it doesn't have.
That's awesome.
I thought that one was really cool.
Yes.
Love doesn't have a big head. Love doesn't force itself on others. Love isn't always me first, babe. I'm sorry. It's not always me first, right? And that's a good one. Love isn't always me first. Love doesn't fly off the handle. Love doesn't keep score.
Wow.
Okay?
Yes.
Love doesn't keep score.
Wow. It's not a game.
Love doesn't take pleasure in the flowering of the truth. Love puts up with anything. Love trusts God always. Love always looks for the best.
Yes.
It looks for the best
Looks for the
in
best.
everything. Everybody, love looks for the best. Love never looks bad, and love never looks back, but it keeps going to the end.
All right. Love
That
endures. Yes.
Is awesome. That is awesome. And to end out, as you love your husband unconditionally, sacrificially, protectively, and with perseverance, you can't help but notice you loving him as God does. And that is the kind of love that 1 Corinthians 13 talks about. Love never fails.
Guys, I want to say in your home, you have wives that are equally as beautiful as mine today. And while we've talked about the ladies today and how to honor you, next week I'm going to talk to you
Yes.
about how to honor your wives.
High five, babe.
All
High
right,
five.
all
High
right.
five. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Sweet Spot. And we really hope that this conversation sparks a conversation in your home.
That's right.
Right? With your husband, with your wife. We just want to keep the conversation going.
Yes.
Because it's so important that we get this relationship thing right.
Right. Work on your relationship. Spend time in it. That's how we get better at it.
That's
right.
it. And until next time, we hope that you stay in your sweet spot.
Woo!